Hi guys, it's Claire, and today we are spilling the tea on Christine Riccio's Again But Better. This book has been the talk of the talk for the last month on BookTube, well, mostly in May, leading up to the release of this book, because if you don't know, Christine Riccio is one of the most popular, she is the most popular booktubers on the platform, and she's been making writing videos for a very long time, and it's finally in print. And I don't have a very positive review to give you guys. For the most part, people have been giving it, it's kind of more polarizing. Christine's BookTube friends they either don't rate it or they rate it, they give it a really high rating, and I think that's basically the same mentality as Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. And it's weird in that I didn't like it at all. I have tabs. There are so many tabs and most of them aren't good. Like, orange is annoying, and they're almost all orange, and I never use green to tab my books, but I use green for self-insert, because this book is a self-insert fanfiction type read, and it's so weird to say that, because usually when you read a book, you like to differentiate between the author and the main character. That's kind of the whole point of writing books, is to differentiate. But no, that wasn't, you couldn't do that with this book, especially since a lot of people who read this want to be unbiased because it's by one of their favorite booktubers, or it's by a booktuber they watch. And I've been watching Christine for a long time, and I really wanted to love this book, but it just didn't click with me. For the non-spoiler section, I wanted to talk about how I thought the writing was lazy. I thought it read like fan fiction. I thought the characters were one-dimensional to a point where I haven't really seen it as one-dimensional as this. And it was just overall awful. And I don't want to bash Christine, because I can't really watch her videos anymore, because after reading this book, it's her art, and there's some things that are in here that weren't okay with me, and that didn't really sit well with me. And I'll go into that in the spoiler part, but as for the non-spoilery section, I want to talk about what it's about. Basically, it's about this girl named Shane, and she's going to study abroad in London to explore her creative writing and go through this program to become better at writing and stuff. And she has an internship, and basically this novel is supposed to be a rom-com. That's how Christine sold it, but it's not. It's not a rom-com. There's a romance in here, but it's not funny, even though they're constantly laughing. They constantly laugh in this book to the point where it's so annoying. Like, I think every page, sometimes there were three times they were mentioned that they were laughing, and it's like, sis, people don't laugh that much, and if it's funny, then the reader will laugh while reading it, and they don't need to be told that it's funny. You know what I mean? And the romance is between Shane and her, and the love interest is Pilot Pen. You heard that right, Pilot Pen. Like the brand. There's a brand of pens called Pilot, and the main character's love interest is called Pilot Pen, and that's just great. You know, we love creativity. There were just so many things weird about this book, and I'm gonna go into the spoilery section now. Even if you haven't read it, I wouldn't recommend this book to anyone. I don't think I think it's a waste of money. I think it's a waste of time. I can't believe I spent money on this. Because it was just so bad. And I can't tell you how many times, like, I was able to read this book because it's that bad that it became entertaining. And I read in some of the reviews about it, and they said this, and someone else said the same thing. I was like, girl, I got you, okay? And this book, this travesty. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. First of all, I want to talk about how Christine, the author, is Shane, okay? I printed out my Goodreads review because I had a list of things that were similar, okay? They both constantly mention their love for Taylor Swift. In real life, if you know me, you know that I constantly talk about Billie Eilish, and that's part of my personality. Here's the thing. Certain things in real life don't read well, and you don't put them in there because when you read it, you're able to remember it more. Like, I don't think my friends can really remember when I've mentioned Billie Eilish. They'll just know that I mentioned her. You know what I mean? And I don't mention it to the point of annoyance, especially to my crush. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't like to push my likes on other people. I'll talk about what I like, but I'm not gonna sit here and push things on you. And I'll get into that more later. And they both want to be authors. Oh my god, the main character in this book, she wants to be an author. And in the book, she's writing a draft to be an author. Does this not sound familiar? Does this not sound familiar? If you watch Christine's channel, you know she's gone through the journey of being an author. And Shane has a blog, and Christine has a YouTube channel, and Shane's blog channel username is French Watermelon 19, okay? A fruit? No, sorry. A country slash origin, a fruit, and a number. Christine has Poland, a country, bananas, books, okay, same formula, and Poland Bananas 20. She doesn't post on that channel, but the fact is, French Watermelon 19 and Poland Bananas 20 follow the same formula. Country, fruit, number. And it's just really similar. They both like music. They both are writing a novel. I already said that. They both look alike. Like, if you look at the cover, this looks like Christine. Can we not get over this? Okay? Okay? Can we just... I don't know. And they both studied abroad in London. And that's totally okay. That doesn't really bother me. But it's just another similarity that Christine, it's okay to draw from your own experiences, but you can't draw from your own experiences throughout the entire novel. Because that's not character development. That's just you. That's just talking about you. That's just a biography. Like, if I want a biography from Christine, like, that's what she should have told us, not putting it off as a main character, you know what I'm saying? Both are avid readers and even enjoy reading the same books, like, for example, Vampire Academy and Cassandra Clare. Oh my god. And this leads me to what I wanted to discuss earlier, and that's the fact that just because I like something, I'm aware that other people don't like that. I'm very aware that other people don't like the things I like. And I'm very aware, like, I don't really recommend that many books to people who don't read because they don't read. So why would I be recommending you books if you don't read? If you like to read, I'll be like, oh, this is a cool book, this is it. Whereas in this book, Shane goes out of her way to tell people to read books, and not one of her friends said that they were bad. They all said, oh my gosh, I'm glad that you recommended that to me, like, it was so great. However, I think it's worth mentioning, and that if she had been recommending books to all of her friends, and for the most part, all of them read the book she was talking about. In this case, I think one of them was called The Da Vinci Code, which is not that, it's an okay book, okay? It's not fantastic, whatever. not one of them said that they didn't like it, which I think is kind of weird, you know, especially since her other friends didn't read. Like, I don't think they would go out of their way to read something if they're not readers and they would like it, you know, because for the most part, people who don't read, like, at all, they're not gonna just read because you told them to. That's not something people do, and I didn't like how Shane was kind of pushing her interests on other people, because that's just not okay. And then they would turn around and like them, and I think it's realistic that at least one of them wouldn't like the same thing, and that just bothered me. And I put in here, I said both tried to get other people to read books. Shane pushes it to the point of annoyance. Like, some people don't have time or just don't like to read, and that's okay. Because, you know, my dad likes to read, but I don't like the same books that he likes, and he never has enough time. And that goes for people my age. Like, some people just don't have the time, or they don't really like to read, and when they do have free time, they rather go to the movies, or they rather do something with friends. They don't want to put any real effort into a leisure activity, you know what I mean? And that's totally okay, because, you know, I get in those funks too, and it just happens, and that's okay. And both of them call people humans, and Christine does this, and that's just something that she does. Like, I say twat, I call people twats a lot. That's something that I do, that I guess, you know, in the US, you know, not that many people call other people twats. It's more of a UK thing. But it's okay to, like, have a word that, you know, or do something a little bit different, you know. Like, Christine calls people humans. She does that in real life. But I didn't like how Shane did it, because, again, it doesn't read well. There are some things in real life that are fine, but they don't read well. And that's why they're not in books. Like, Insta-love doesn't really read well, in my opinion. But in real life, there have been times, you know, where you know, friends I know, people I know, they'll see someone, they're like, they just have a first impression, they're like, yeah, I think we click. Like, that happens, but not in the way books can write them. So that's my thing on that. And I want to talk about next about the characters. The characters were so not two-dimensional, one-dimensional. They had no depth, and when there were times where, like, they were talking about something serious, because throughout this book, there is constant happiness, rainbows, sunshine. If you know me, I'm not about that. My life is not, I don't like thinking in rainbows, sunshine all the time. And this book screams, like, positivity and optimism, and to a point where it's kind of damaging, because what happens is that there are times where the characters go through hardship, you know. Pilot's parents are going through divorce. Other things happen with, I forget, something happened with one of the other characters, and it's just, whenever they started to talk about those things, one of them would either say, okay, let's change the subject, or let's go do something else to get my mind off it. There was no real dialogue talking about deep emotional problems that people were having, and I feel it was all very surface level. And I think in order to build characters, you have to go beyond the surface level. Like, you can't just say, like, they like this, they do that, and they talk like this, because that's not what a person is like. A person is more than just how they talk and how they dress. I guys had to go delete some stuff off my memory card. I want to talk about how Shane was obsessed with Pilot. Okay, so throughout this book, Shane is very obsessed with Pilot. Okay, here's my issue. Even though it's the whole focus of the book is on the characters and it's on the romance, I get that, but the thing is that it seems like Shane just can't get Pilot out of her head, and that's not exactly what a romantic comedy is about. It's about two people who are living life and they fall in love, and that's what this book is about. But the amount of words and thoughts and whatever that Shane dedicates to Pilot is just a lot, and it's concerning, you know? It's like at that point, and it's just weird. And okay, the one really problematic thing in here that I want to really point out is the fact that Pilot has a girlfriend. Pilot has a girlfriend named Amy who flew all the way from America to London just to see him, and Shane and Pilot were cheating. Like Pilot was cheating on Amy with Shane. Not about that, sis. Okay, that is not okay. That is all kinds of not okay. And I would be fine with it. Like, I don't need to like my characters. I'd be fine, I guess, with the cheating. Like, I wouldn't like it because obviously cheating is a really douchey thing to do. But the fact that it's never called out or said to be wrong, like, if my main character's an axe murderer and he murders someone and they say it's wrong, I'm okay. Okay, we agree that that's wrong. You know what I mean? The cheating part's never said to be wrong. Shane never really calls him out for it. And it's just like, bro, I don't understand what's up with booktubers and, like, controversial things in their books, but, like, Zenith had some kind of, like, rape thing in it, and this is, like, this has cheating in it? Like, whoa. Y'all need to get your act together, okay? And it's just so immature. Like, the writing's immature, the characters are immature, it's just awful. And another thing I want to bring up that's problematic for me is the fact that her parents are paying for her college, right? She's in college on this program for creative writing. Her parents think it's a pre-med program, so she's lying to her parents, right? And that's a big part of this story as well. And something about, even though her parents aren't the best, like, they're not the best parents, they're not the most supportive, if Shane really wanted to be a creative writer, if she really wanted to, and she was scared of her parents getting rid of, or not paying for her college, then she would be working for it herself. Point blank, period, okay? That really bothered me. Like, there was a point in this book where she was scared that, like, she wouldn't be able to pay for the rest of her college or any of it, since she hadn't been paying for it at all, because her parents were paying for it. That really bothered me, that she didn't even think as a possibility that she herself could pay for her own college. Like, do you not understand that most people take out loans, awful student loans that they'll have, like, be paying off years after they graduate just so they can get an education? Like, do you not understand that normal people, like, they would be thinking, like, oh shit, if I really want to pursue my dream, I'm going to have to pay for it myself. It's not like, I think the fact that her parents were telling her she needs to be a doctor or else is not super great, but the fact of the matter is that they did pay for it. In the end, Shane just didn't have the guts to, like, be honest with them from the start, so they probably wasted a lot of money for her to just lie, because she was in college for being a doctor, not for creative writing. If she had just been upfront with her parents and told them, hey, I don't want to be a doctor, I want to be an English major or whatever, everything would have been fine. They would have been mad and upset for a little bit, but everything would have been fine. And if they said, well, sorry sis, we're not paying for that, well, then she could have been, you know what, I'm going to work my butt off and I'm going to pay for it. And it just comes off as so privileged that the fact that didn't even come up as a thought in her head that she could have paid for it herself. That just doesn't sit well with me. It just comes off as so privileged that it didn't even go through her mind that she could pay for her own college. That just bothers me so much. And to be honest, I think if you want to be an author, you don't, like, have to have an English major. Like, it certainly helps, but there are tons of online classes that are probably cheaper and maybe even better, just putting that out there. But it just makes me upset that she didn't even think about paying for her college. And yeah, okay, my next point, none of the characters had personality, that's a fact. The only characters that I really liked were Sarah and Leo. Leo was the cousin of Shane, and Sarah was one of her flatmates in London, and they had personality, but they were never explored because they were freaking side characters, so we never got to see them, even though they're the best ones there. Like, Sarah and Leo had attitude, they had sass. If Sarah was talking, like, you knew, because she had an attitude, she had a vibe. Like, when she was more one of the quieter ones, and she was more straightforward, And one more thing before I end this review, because I don't really want to have this be a long review, even though it probably is. Everyone was constantly laughing and smiling, and I think I already brought this up. It's just, this book all around, I think I'm just gonna give my more general thoughts. I think this book could have been amazing if, one, Christine is she talks about, like, being socially awkward, and Shane was definitely, like, a little bit socially awkward in here, but I think if that had been expanded upon in the way that Turtles All the Way Down did, like, if it had been, like, one of the main focus points about how it's hard to be socially awkward in a romantic relationship, that could have been amazing, but it wasn't, because this book was focused on being a happy, laughing, great time, even though it wasn't, but that's what it was trying so hard to do. And those deep moments, I think if those deep moments would have been, like, taken advantage of, then it would have been a lot better. So I think what I'm saying, overall, besides the being a self-insert novel, which is really cringy, or everything else, I think that this book could have been better if it was sadder, if it was more realistic, and if it was sadder. Really, I think this book would have been better if it was hitting harder when you read it. And it makes me sad a little bit to see this, to read this, and to make this video, because I really wanted to like this book. Because by one of my favorite booktubers, I've been watching Christine write this book and be so excited about it for, like, years now. And the fact that I personally, like, don't like it at all, and I feel like objectively it's bad, subjectively it's bad, it kind of hurts a little bit. And I will definitely be reading Christine's next book, but I definitely feel like this was a waste of money, a waste of time, and it just wasn't a good book. I have so many qualms, I guess you would say, about this book. Overall, I just don't like it. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. If you're watching this, don't buy it. It's a waste of money. And, yeah, so thanks for watching. I think that's all I have on this book, because I don't want to keep going on and on about it, because, again, she is kind of the queen bee, and I don't want to, and she's on this platform, and I don't really want to really dig into her like a lot of people are doing on Goodreads, because her rating for this book on Goodreads is just going down and down and down. It was like 3.87, now it's like 3.85, it just keeps going down. So I think she's getting enough criticism, and it's mostly the same criticism. And yeah, alright, I will see all of you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Okay, so you watched the whole video. We all know that Pilot's a twat for cheating on his girlfriend, right? So, if you've been around for a while, you know about the twat board. The twat board is what I wanted to do, just to put all the people that I think are twats, Aspen from the selections on here. And now we're going to put Pilot from Again But Better on here, because he's a twat, and he just needs to go away. He just needs to go away. We don't need him. We don't need any of the characters, but we especially don't need him. And he can just, Amy can do better, okay? Amy can do better. Anyone can do better than Pilot, alright? Alright? Okay. Bye, guys. I'll see you in my next one. Sorry, I almost forgot to do that, so I was like, whoa. We all know Pilot's a twat. He is on the twat board. and I will see you guys later.